name is Anna. I am here today at Whitley Library with Angela and Claudette, and we're here to mark Windrush Day. It's the 22nd of June, and Windrush Day commemorates the first group of people that came over from the Caribbean on the boat Windrush the same day, 22nd of June 1948. But that generation, as we will hear, spans wider than just 1948 and those first arrivals, and really pleased that we can celebrate this day today with these two fabulous ladies and have some conversation at Whitley Library. We are also standing against the Enigma of Arrival exhibition, which is a partnership between Reading Museum and Barbados Museum and Historical Society. Really delighted to be able to get this out on the road and have some conversation with Angela and Claudette. Thank you.
Right, my name is Angela Baval. I will be talking regarding my experience of coming to Britain. Well, me and my brother actually. I did some, I think it was last week at Southcote, so I would just expand a bit further on that as well.
My name's Claudette Henry. I'm from the Reading Dominican folk group Ciceroo, but I've done a lot of community work. I'm also Windrush generation. My parents came up in the late 50s, and the reason I'm here is really to discuss about our song Streets of Gold, which celebrates the Windrush experience. And what is unique is that the group members were all in their 50s and 60s doing this, so they were the Windrush generation talking about their experience. So I thought I'd play it and then we just talk around that. Is a musician and he put the music together for us. This song Streets of Gold, because this was our first album, we asked the group to do something about the Windrush experience, and my dad and my brother wrote the song, and obviously my brother did the music, and the whole group sang it, but the majority of the group were over 50 at the time. So, and in fact, the last performance was only in 2018 and they were 80 something, the few of them that were taking part still. Unfortunately, a lot of them have passed away now, so the group is now not actively running, but we have this as a way of passing on our culture to future Dominicans, but also this song speaks to everyone. Here, well, you probably can't see it, so this is just a banana boat, but a lot of people afterwards came on the geese boats, not on, I think my mum came up on a cruise ship, she didn't remember the name, so as it got later, so this is where he was thinking, you know, I'm going to go and the street's going to be paved with gold, but you can see the gold is quickly rubbing away into dirt. and there's basically no gold to be had.
And becoming the street cleaner rather than the policeman.
Than the policeman that he would have been. And then obviously that was just one of our traditional ladies. And then when in the chorus they say we said goodbye to our children and our wives, you know, and it's cold, but there's no streets of gold. You know, and the distress that caused, because a lot of them, if they told their families they were not doing well, it was worse. So it was pride. And in the second verse he says, I never compromised my pride. But a lot of people used to go back home, you'd borrow a suit from your best friend, because there's only one suit between all of you, and you'd go back and you would spend loads of money, which people have lent you, to say, I'm doing really well in England. And it created a rod for our own back going forward in time, because then people feel because you live in England you are still doing well. But it was never true. But you were too embarrassed to say to your family, I've made this big move and actually I'm not doing well.
It's not what we expected.
And the typical no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, which we've
got
up
on the
there.
exhibition.
It's true. And my dad started off living in a room, so my mum was quite surprised to hear where he was living, and then to see he just had a room. He didn't own the whole house. Back home you built your home, you got married, you had a whole house. My mum, they had maids, yet still she came here and it was just her on her own, with my dad on his own working, and 4 or 5 of them in the room. So we moved to Reading sometime later after I was born. But
every island story is similar, and I think with women the biggest struggle was that they always had to depend on a man to get anything or do anything. I don't think it is wrong or whatever, because I think anywhere that you go, you're going to always also need a sort of support, you know, because, you know, and I, when I say support, especially from a man, because I think coming here and the problems that they experience, as to say that there was being beat up on the road and things like that. You know, another woman won't be able to, I'm not saying they won't be able to, because I know back in our countries the women were just as equally, you know, they didn't take no rubbish, and they were quite very strong-minded women. So I think, like you said, coming here and having to really, you had to really depend on a man when you were quite independent. Not, when I say independent thinking.
But it was a different time as well, that even English, I think more so because English women didn't have the same sort of freedom.
As well,
And so in our country, women were kind of equal. They could say, they could rule the family, they had more power. But when they came here, they were being very respectful, because they thought, this is England, and England is so much more important than our little country. And all of that they came with, those preconceptions that they had to be posh, and they dressed really well because this is how the English dressed. And then they came and noticed the English weren't dressed that well. And the English didn't, you know, the women didn't work. And, you know, but our experience of back home is a totally different society. So when they did try and force themselves here, they were still also battling the sexism that was around, that they, you know, because no women could do stuff, black or white, far less black. So the white people couldn't do it, they're not going to let the black people do it. And it was difficult, and raising children here.
And how do you two know each other? Was there a school connection? Did you
Secondary
say?
School, yeah.
Secondary school.
I think that's all 3 of us, because all of us went
You were in
to
the
Alfred.
same-
Alfred Sutton. We all went to Alfred Sutton, and I think there. Well, I don't know with yourself. That's why I was saying that I didn't realise that there was people from different cultures. You know, like Jamaican, Barbados, Dominican, as you say, Grenadian. You didn't know at the time. So you just thought, you saw everybody, then you thought that they were all black, and you didn't realise that they were from different cultures. And that's, for me personally, I think that was my best experience, to know that there was people from different countries, and we all got on, as far as you know, I feel we all got on, and because we were also facing the same sort of challenges, isn't it? and it was especially in school, because I think what I didn't mention last week was corporal punishment was still around then.
It was when I was at school.
Yeah.
When you were in school in the 70s and 80s, it's unbelievable.
was
Like our children would not believe that now, would they?
That's correct.
Yeah, I remember having my hands caned, which is extraordinary.
Yeah.
But if you were black, you sometimes were, especially a black boy, you were at risk of being caned literally
Every day.
anything. And a lot of black parents didn't go to the school because they felt the teachers know best. Because back home, if you did something wrong,
That's right.
your neighbour's beating you before you've got, the
Before
you
you've had a
did, you
chance to
answer
even
the
put your
teacher
parents
back,
to know.
the teacher beats you.
Yeah.
On your way home, the neighbour
They both
beats you because
beat you,
they've
yeah.
heard, and then you get home and your mum and
You've
dad
got
beat
another-
you, because it was like the village
It was
raised a
it's
child,
yeah, that's
and
right.
everybody was in your best interest to see you behave. Whereas here, some parents, they just said, "Oh, the teacher's right," and even if they
that's
were
right.
wrong, you as a child had no support for your parents because they said the teachers know best.
Yeah.
Because back home the teachers do. The teachers are doing it with your best interest, but here it was different.
Yeah.
And you sometimes could fall foul of teachers, and they could almost do what they like because almost your parents are giving their blessing.
Given them
even though
that right.
it's taken, sometimes it took a while for them to see that actually what was happening wasn't.
Experiences. But what for you is important about having Windrush Day? Because it's not, it's only been like the last 9-10 years, so it's been in our lifetime. So
Yeah.
what feels for you like what's special and important about marking it with a particular day?
Can I just say, just like Black History Month, as a black person, it just feels that we're always cornered into just one day.
Fair enough, yeah.
What one, like one particular day. But I feel, like the Jews went through something that was really, just as bad as a story as the slave trade. Now, it's kept alive, like say, not just one particular day. Maybe they will celebrate it one particular day. But you could guarantee that somewhere you could go somewhere and you'll find that that information. But it feels like with Black History Month and also with Windrush, everything's put away.
I hear what you're saying.
Then when it's that day, it's back up again. I think sometimes it makes me feel, as being an older person, maybe if I was younger, I was thinking, that don't bother. But as an older person, I think that we still is a bit invisible as to say, unless we're, like somebody might say, oh, it's Black History Month, come and do this. They wouldn't maybe come for us any other days. But I think that we're, every, because there's the travelers, there's so many stories. The Irish's background. There's so many stories that has to be told, not just on one particular day. I think when you put it away and then bring it back up, then that's just like people's memory. Their alkasite until it comes back up, and then